Students, will start with 18 504 quality assurance in garment production, and we are at unit 5 quality assurance in packing and organization. Now today we will talk about lesson 2, wherein we will talk about different procedures of customer complaint handling. Also we will see that different product recalls of garments, and then we will see little bit of about customer satisfaction, quality maturity grid, how the profitability can be achieved, and finally the quality in any organizations, what are the different principles adopted. Now let us see, students, that what are the things available in lesson 2 for you. Now we will start with customer complaints. So what do you mean by the customer complaints, and what are the different ways customer complaints are there and can be tackled? And this customer complaint, when you are talking, what are the different areas we learn out of it? That is also a great achievement for us when customer complaints are there. So one of them is the learning. We learn from the customer complaint. We track, we understand how to track the customer complaint. We monitor the customer complaint, and we categorize different customer complaint. So these are the ways actually we see that when the customer complaints are there and how they are good for the business. So that is very, very important to understand the customer complaint part. Now let us see that what are the different steps involved in customer complaint handling. First one is that when there is a complaint for any customer, so we have to listen carefully the complaint. We should not be impatient while listening to the complaints. So we have to really give patience to it, and we have to listen it very carefully, different customer complaints. Now second one in the customer complaint handling procedure comes that questions. After listening to the particular complaints, we have to questions, different questions can be asked, okay, so that the customer will understand that you are attentive and you are asking questions for the solutions. So that is the way the customer complaints are handled, by asking questions. Now third one is that put yourself in their shoes. What do you mean by that, students? This is nothing but the empathy. We talk about the empathy. Yes, there is a complaint, okay, there are certain mistakes have been done. So how we will take this mistake going forward, or how to solve those mistakes, what are the different solutions? So that is called empathy, or put yourself in their shoes. If you are the customer, then how would have been your feeling at that point of time? So that is the second part of this particular complaint handling procedures. Be at the customer sides and try to understand their problems. The next one is that apologize without blaming. We should say sorry if there is a mistake from our end, or there is any production problem is there. So we should listen them carefully, we should ask questions, and there is a genuine problem is that we should apologize. We should not blame each other in the organizations. Normally there is always a blame game happens in the factories, that if there is a problem and if customer raises some issues, people try to blame different other departments. So we should not do that. We should apologize without blaming. So that is one of the important steps in the customer handling procedure. Now another important step in this customer handling procedure is that customer, we have to ask, and we have to ask for acceptable solution according to that the particular customer, whom there are certain problems are there with whom, and who have who the customers who have raised the questions. So acceptable solutions, we should listen from them and try to understand what the customer wants actually to resolve the issue. So those are the different steps really important for any customer complaint handling. Now last step is of course the solving the problem and giving a particular solution, and that should be done very quickly, because if the situation is delayed or the procedure is delayed, then the particular customer will go to the still higher authorities. So situation will not improve into that. So aggravate the situation in such a fashion that it will be beyond our control. So we have to solve the problem very quickly. Okay, so that is one of the major steps in the customer handling procedure, to solve it quickly if any problem is there, any production problem, any service problem. So we have to resolve those kind of things which have come as a problem or which have come as a customer complaint. Now let us see that why customer satisfaction is important for us. Now loyalty is very, very important. We have to be the loyal customer, okay, or we should tackle the loyal customer very effectively and secretly. So these loyal customers are the assets for the organizations. Sometimes we should say that we will hide them from the others, from the competitors. Okay, so those are the customers. We must take special care for them. So that is the customer satisfaction. Now here one important question arises: the customers, okay, if we lose the business of that particular customer, what will happen? Okay, it is totally a business loss. So that particular customer will not be your client in further. So how much loss is there in your business? So that is the reason we have to always satisfy the customer. Okay, so stop being your clients if that situation happens. So it is a huge loss for the company. So that's why we have to take care of this customer satisfaction part carefully. After all, it is all profit. Okay, if we really satisfy the customer, if happy with the business, okay, so money is involved into that. Money means the profit. Okay, more business. So those kind of satisfaction should be there with the customer, so that the company goes into the profit. So that's why customer satisfaction is very important for the business. Now there is another important part of customer satisfaction, is that stand out of competition. You have to do certain things, you have to produce certain product, you have to give certain service, so that you will be stand out from your competitors. Okay, so you will be the real loyal producing factory or buying office for that particular customer. Okay, so stand out of competition. So your quality is such that you will beat others. Your service is such that it is well above the others. Okay, so those kind of competitions, you have to win these competitions to meet the customer satisfaction. So these are all the different areas where customer satisfaction is very, very important for apparel business. We have to make the customer happy in this fashion. Now this customer satisfaction, when you are talking, okay, there also comes the customer's experience. Now students, what do you mean by customer experience? Okay, customer experience is very, very important. because then only you can position your brand, your material at the market. So customer must be very happy. Their experience in working with you must be a good experience, okay, or a great experience. So customers should be happy into that. Then only you can establish the brand in the market properly. So that's why customer satisfaction is very, very important for any kind of business, and especially for the garment industry, the apparel business. Now after this customer satisfaction, let us see a video how the customer complaint can be handled.
Dealing with an upset customer may be the most difficult aspect of customer service.
Hi, this is Jason. How can I help you this afternoon?
You tell me. I'm looking at my new statement, and I see that you people have charged me again for the same fees I've been calling about for months now. I'm sick and tired of being told that it's handled when pretty clearly it's not.
That's not easy to even listen to. So, how do you respond to it in a way that will help? First, remember that the customer isn't upset with you, they're upset with the situation. Don't take it personally. Then remind yourself that angry customers often struggle to be objective. So before trying to resolve the problem, it's important to diffuse the customer's frustration. So how do you do that? Start by allowing the customer to vent. It isn't easy and it's rarely pretty, but try not to interrupt or contradict the customer, even if you believe they're wrong. Confrontation will lead to escalation, and the goal is to calm the customer down so you can look for a solution.
I'm so sorry to hear that. Let me take a look at your account and find out what's going on. Can you remind me when this started?
Fine. The first fee showed up 3 months ago. If you can't fix this, I'm going to close the account.
I completely understand your frustration. Let me see what I can do to help get this taken care of for you right now.
Listening and responding with empathy helps diffuse the customer's frustration. This is one of the quickest ways to de-escalate tension. Listening with an open mind and expressing your understanding lets your customer know that you acknowledge their problem. Respond with your positive intent to take action to resolve the problem as best you can. Keep your focus on the customer and follow through on your desire to help them.
I'm glad I was able to get that issue taken care of. It may take up to 24 hours for your account to show the changes, but you shouldn't see any more of these fees in the future. Thanks for working with me to figure it out. I want to apologize again for the inconvenience.
Thanks, Jason. I appreciate your help.
By removing the focus from yourself and staying focused on understanding and resolving the customer's problem, it's easier to stay detached and not get wrapped up in an emotional outburst. Maintaining an attitude of caring and concern helps to diffuse customer frustration. Allow them to vent as needed. Listen and respond with empathy. You'll never be able to work in customer service without running into angry, frustrated customers once in a while. But there are ways you can ease the tension and allow you both to work toward an acceptable solution.
So students, we have seen that how customer satisfaction can be achieved and complaint handling procedure through some videos. Now let us see that different complaints, when we are talking, those complaint handling procedures can result also sometimes product recall when it is of poor quality or not satisfying the regulatory norms of a particular country. So there are various reasons that for that the recall can happen. That is called the product recall. Let us see what do you mean by the product recall. Now these are some of the children's garment before you wherein the product recall has happened. Now why such kind of product recall? What are the reasons? So first of the reasons will be the returns to the maker. Okay. So the persons who have made that garment, returning is there. That is the first procedure of the recall, and concern is really due to the safety. Safety issues are not maintained in those children's garment. Okay, that's why it is returned to the maker. So one of the reasons is the safety. Okay, so that is the first and foremost thing in the children's garment, because a lot of accidents, health hazards can happen due to the faulty designs of the garment. Now reasons are also there, like I was telling about the design defects, okay, or there is the labeling errors. Such kind of events are also causing problems in the children's garment, and product recall may happen due to that. So children's of different ages, they may face this problem. So garments produced out of faulty designs, or if there is some safety concerns are there in the garment regarding the design aspects, so then the product recall may happen for those garments. Now companies recall different products. It is not like only the domestic people will only recall the products, but also brand buyers, they are also having this problem of recalling their products. It is applicable not only for the apparel industry, but also for different other hard goods industry also. So there also this recalling will happen. Mainly this is a safety concern for the customers, for that recall happen, and it affects in the large number, okay. So if there is a large number of such cases are there, then recall will definitely happen in those garments. Like here in the figure, a children's garment has been shown here, okay. So there are certain safety concerns associated with that. So customer complaints will be there. So those kind of thing, it happens for any company. So recalling is the best option for them. Otherwise they have to incur much more losses. It is preventive in nature when we do the recalls, because it gives the prevention so that more materials will not go into the market. It is getting prevented of going into the market to preempt costly litigations, okay. Now if there is a complaint due to certain death or certain health issues kind of thing, that will cost more. So if you recall the goods or try to rectify the goods, giving some sort of compensation, so that preempt costly regulations or litigations can be avoided. Financial and goodwill losses, that also is associated with the recalls, okay. So those are the different aspects when the product recall happens and customer goodwill is getting affected. So that is very serious part of the recalling of the garments. Now product recalls, when you are talking, how it happens, that is the question. Now this is governed by consumer protection laws of a country. So different countries, they are having different laws for product recalls, okay. So it is governed by that particular country specific laws, okay. So there are certain consumer protection acts will be there. Based on that only product recall happens. Now the product recalls, when you are talking, if product recall happens, okay, then penalty is obviously associated with it, because certain goods have been sold out, certain goods are there on the shelf. So those goods which are sold out, okay, and you are recalling those goods for rectifications, so you have to give certain kind of penalty for this. Penalty sometimes to the government, penalty sometimes in the form of monetary replacement or some monetary benefits to the particular customer. So product recalls is also associated with the penalty, that is the reason. Now when product recall happens, how it happens? It happens through announcements. Announcement means announcement through some government agency's website. So those kind of websites will declare that this kind of product is having this problem. So they give the picture of that product, the brand of that product, everything. So customers, actually the consumers who have purchased those items, they will refer to that and go into that site, and then they will go back to that particular retail store. Now product recall also can happen through some news, television reports, etc. Through newspapers also it may happen. So media is really one of the area by which the product recalls can be happened, and it can be distributed, or information can be passed to different consumers who have used that product or who have purchased this product. Now during such recall, what happens? Recalling means returning of the goods, okay, recalling the goods from the customers, and irrespective of the condition, maybe some of the consumer have used those material. So after that, this particular client has found that there are certain problems, safety issues are there. Though lot of accidents and all these things have not happened for that, but irrespective of the conditions of the use, recall can happen, because preempt litigations, those kind of litigations can be avoided. Sometimes the full refund is also expected, or the modification of the product, that also can happen. So there are various possibilities in the recall when you are returning the goods. Now here are certain examples or case studies which has happened with these different apparel products in the world, and different brand buyers are associated with that. Let us see those items. One of them is the boys' jackets. In that jacket, drawstring was there with a toggle, and possibility of there is catching in the small spaces, and which may lead to the entrapment hazard. Okay, that's why these are the safety concerns in that boys' jacket. So who are responsible for this, and who are the people really involved in regulatory affairs? Now CPSC, Consumer Product Safety Commissions, their guidelines is there, and guideline was in February 1996 for the jacket and the sweatshirts. So according to that, product recall can happen. Now what actually happened for that particular jacket is that the store which was responsible for selling such product was the Gap, that is the Old Navy is one of their brand. In that Old Navy store it has happened, and it happened in the month of December 2007, and country where it happened, the store where it was situated was in Indonesia. So that particular boys' jackets wherein the safety concerns are there according to the Consumer Product Safety Commission. So those kind of safety issues, just to avoid them, the particular Old Navy store of Gap, they recall those goods in 2007 from Indonesia. Now let us see children's pants. This is also another examples. There was ribbon belt at the waist. What was the problem? Entrapment problem may happen due to this ribbon belt. Entanglement hazards which can happen due to this. So this is the pants wherein the ribbon belt was there at the waist area. Entrapment and entanglement hazards may happen due to this. Now store which was responsible for this case was Sears Stores, and it happened in December 2007, and country was China. So this is one of the examples of children's pants recall in the world. There are other cases like girls' clothing sets. If you see, there were the drawstrings at the waist area, and it also can cause entrapment or entanglement hazards. So drawstrings at the waist was the problem here. Now who are responsible for this? The store which was responsible for this was the Kmart store. It is a famous US brand, Kmart. Later on it has mixed, or acquisition was done by Sears. Okay. Now the month where it was happened in December 2007, and the country was Pakistan, and countries like this Pakistan, you will get lot of such stores from where this girls' clothing set was recalled by Kmart. So this is one of the issues of recall. There are cases where girls hooded sweat shirts with drawstrings. That was also recalled. What was that case? Case was a strangulation hazards to the children. Okay. So this is the figure or the photograph of that particular girl's hooded sweat shirt. Now, what was the problem in it and from where it happened? This happened in the Marshalls and other retailers because of the drawstring problem, safety issues. And it happened in December 2007 and country was India. So these are the cases of different recalls which happened in the world. So girls hooded sweat shirts with drawstring is another example of it. Now let us see the children's hooded sweat shirts when you are talking. There is another example where strangulation hazards happened to the children garment. So this is one of the examples of the strangulation hazards in children's hooded sweat shirts. And here the store was Nordstrom stores. It is a famous US brand. Okay, outerwear it is very famous for. And the month was March 2008 and country was China. So children's hooded sweat shirts. So we are seeing here that different actual product recall happen in the world in various kind of brand buyers. Okay, so they are all for the export oriented goods. These are happened like this. So this is the image of that sweat shirt. Now pajamas, if you give an example of pajamas, there are also certain kind of safety issues are involved, because certain kind of pajamas if you wear, you can understand that if there is a flame, okay, so there is every possibility that flame can catch in that particular area of a pajama. Sleeve could catch fire in this case, as you can see from the design of that particular pajamas. Now here when we are talking about the pajamas, the country and the store, you can see that store is Sears Canada retail outlets, wherein this particular pajamas are found or recalled, and the month was May 2008 and country was India. So these are the different examples of product recall. There are such kind of many recalls happened every year. Okay, so these are the some of the examples or the case studies of different types of recalls happened for different children's garments. Now let us see, students, that a different area that is called quality maturity grid. What do you mean by quality maturity grid? That we'll see. This actually talks about certain kind of maturity grid that is called organizational maturity matrix. Okay, Philip B. Crosby. So they were the real inventor of this matrix, and this was first published in 1979. So what is the meaning of quality maturity grid and how it is important? Let us see. Now quality maturity grid, sometimes we call it as QMMG. Okay. So let us see now a particular video on product recall, what was happened, and after that we will come into this quality of different products and how the quality management systems are evolved and what are the different steps of implementation procedures or different principles. Those we will see in this quality maturity grid. Let us see the different quality aspects when it was addressed in the product, and then how the recall happened into those products. Let us see through a video now.
Now for Eyewitness News, call 12 for action. Thousands of baby clothes are being recalled due to a strangulation hazard.
Now, the clothing manufacturer is now facing some big fines for violating federal regulations. Eyewitness News consumer reporter Susan Hogan joins us now with more.
We've learned several children's clothing manufacturers are now facing stiff fines for violating a federal safety standard. Active Apparel is recalling thousands of these boys' zipper-hooded sweatshirts. They have drawstrings around the neck area which pose a strangulation hazard to children. Drawstrings can become entangled on playground slides, handrails, or school bus doors. The recall involves boys fishing zipper-hooded sweatshirts with a white drawstring tie. Consumers should immediately take the sweatshirt away from their kids and remove the drawstring to eliminate the hazard, or return it to where you bought it for a full refund and a $10 gift card. Toys R Us is recalling 19,000 children's sandals due to a choking hazard. Koala sandals with butterfly wings can rip and detach. Toys R Us has received a report from one consumer who found a piece of the shoe's butterfly wings in their child's mouth. Consumers should take the sandals away from their young children and return them to the Toys R Us for a full refund. And another company recalling shoes because of a choking risk to children. Trimfoot's recalling close to 6,000 soft-soled sneakers sold exclusively at Macy's. A small metal eyelet can detach from inside the sneaker, posing a choking hazard to infants. The recall involves First Impressions high-top soft-soled sneakers for infants who are crawling or standing. They have blue denim soles, brown canvas tongues. Consumers can return the shoes to Macy's or contact Trimfoot for a full refund. We have a lot more information for you regarding these recalls on our website right now at WPRI.com. And if you have a consumer problem you need help solving, contact our Call 12 for Action Center Monday through Thursday from 11 until 1, hotline 228-1850. I'm problem solver Susan Hogan, Eyewitness News.
So students, we have seen that different types of issues are there. For that media, how it takes a major role in the product recall processes. Okay. So you are at quality maturity grid, and we are discussing about implementation and what are the importance of quality maturity grid in the organizations. So one of the very important aspects of quality maturity grid is the benchmarking. Any process what is happening in an organizations, so that can be benchmarked to quality maturity grid. How much maturity level is that in that particular organizations when they are doing the processing. So that basically talks about in that quality maturity grid. So that it is basically a benchmarking of the process. Now when you are talking about quality maturity grid, it must be there embedded in the culture. That's why the experience takes a role of it. Okay, how much experience is that particular organizations, how much time they are there in the market, how much service they are giving in the market, or the product, how many years since they are producing this product. Then is there any quality management system in place in that particular organizations for the product or the process point of view. So all these things together, it talks about the quality maturity grid in the system, and this also includes quality control, this also includes quality assurance, and also the total quality management or the TQM. Okay, so quality maturity grid is basically that how much mature is the company. So there is a benchmark, whether it is reaching that benchmark, or how much mature in that product manufacturing or in the different processes. So that talks about quality maturity grid by which it is expressed. Now there are different levels are available in the quality maturity grid, or we call it as a matrix. So those levels are there. So like for an example, that level 1 talks about the concept kind of thing, level 2 the production processing it talks about, then level 3 talks about the project collaboration, okay, then level 4 the long term achievement kind of thing, okay, and then level 5 talks about some reuse of the product, okay. So impact on the environment. So that is the quality maturity level or quality maturity grid. So it is the basically we talks about the maturity of a company. Okay, how much mature is the company and at which level actually that company is. Let us see that quality maturity grid when you are talking like cross by. So different contributions are there. What are those contributions? You can see from this image. It takes care of uncertainty, awakening, enlightenment, wisdom and certainty. So these are the different keywords which are available with the quality maturity grid. So how the company takes care of the uncertainty of any situation. Is that possible that we can really do some awakening program, or by which the enlightenment of the knowledge of the staffs possible, their wisdom increases over a period of time, and we are to be certain that yes, this particular company can deliver such kind of product. So that is the quality management maturity grid. Okay, and in short we call it as QMMG, quality maturity grid management. Now students, let us see that how the quality is related with the profitability. Let us see that when you are talking about a product, okay, what is first required is the blueprint of the product. How we will plan the product. Plan means that how the product will be manufactured. So that is the product planning. That is very, very important. Okay, like in the garment industry, if you see some examples, lot of production meeting happens. So that is a part of this products planning. Okay, sometimes they do some sampling meeting or pre-production meeting, production meeting. These are all part of this product planning, and this plays a major role of producing a good quality garment. Now coming into the blueprint or the plan of a product. So planning of the product, when you are talking, it makes a sense, okay, because without planning you cannot produce a good quality garment. You have to run through your manpower, the capacity of the machines, capability of manufacturing such kind of items, okay, and what are the different kind of issues that we can tackle while producing such products, and what are the capability of the people there inside, what are the training aspects are covered into that. So all are related to the planning. Okay, so when the product is planned inside a factory, so lot of issues will come. So those things must be tackled. So that is the product blueprint or the plan of the product. The second characteristics of this quality and profitability is the finished product. Okay. Now it is very, very important that client has given some specifications and we must adhere to those specifications. Okay. So the finished product in the form of apparel, in this case of garment industry, so it must stick to the different specifications. So those norms which are given by the buyer are to be maintained at the international level in the garment industry. Okay. So this is the second part of this quality and profitability. So those are the product features. Okay. We must maintain those features in the garment industry. Now let us talk about these characteristics again, that now due to obvious reasons, sometimes it may not be possible to go exactly as per the plan. Okay, there are certain deviations. Some situation may happen, okay, inside the factory, like a workers' unrest, machine breakdown, some earthquake or political disturbances. Workers cannot come into the factory. So many of such situations may happen where we cannot go as per the plan. Okay, this may happen and we have to take care of that in the product planning. Now concerns and that can cause the compromises, that is the cost of the materials, okay. Then time of productions. So these are the concerns actually. Sometimes the raw materials are not available or the cost of the material is too high, okay. So if the material cost is too high, the finished product cost also there will be an effect to it. So that is the thing we have to remember while we are doing the product planning. On-time delivery comes under this. The third characteristics of this particular part is the ultimate part, that is the satisfaction. Good customer service is very, very important here. So whatever product you are producing, so service level should be high. So customer must be satisfied with that kind of service what you are giving. So that is important thing in this business. So customer satisfaction, when you are talking, so we have to be carefully tackle this satisfaction part. So when it is the selling, when it comes selling to customer, okay, and selling what? Selling the product, okay. So you have to carefully monitor that product about this quality, then on-time delivery, whether it has been ethically produced or not. So all leads to the customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction also includes the measurement of the performance, okay. Now as per the blueprint, you have produced the product, okay, but the performance of the product, how to judge? For that you have to test that product or you have to measure the performance of that product, and then only you can target the customers for that, different customers. If your product performance is good, then you can sell those products to different brand buyers. So customer satisfaction talks about that. So measurement of the performance, that's why is very, very important, that what level you have achieved and you can go at what level by doing some quality control or assurance measure, so that you can satisfy the customer. Now customer satisfaction, when you are talking, we also talked about customer trust. But how customer trust will come? The customer trust in apparel business cannot come in a single day. Over a period of time, the customers actually, they watch that particular industry, the factory, their product, their on-time delivery, their service level, okay. So how they are tackling those customers, their price level, all these things are important, which builds the trust, okay. And when the trust is there, then satisfaction will automatically come, okay. Loyalty comes from there. So all these areas are very, very important when you are talking about the customer satisfaction and how it leads to the satisfaction of the customer, okay, how to achieve this customer satisfaction. Now customer satisfaction goes hand in hand with the good product. If you are manufacturing a product which is of good quality, so it will satisfy the customer, okay. But you do not present it correctly, then it is a problem. You cannot get the satisfaction of the customer. Though you are producing a good product, but it is not presented well, okay. So presentation of the customer to the customer about your product is very, very important, okay. So presentation skill, that's why comes into the play and takes a major role into customer satisfaction part, even though you are producing a good product. Now customer satisfaction also talks about the concerns of the customers. What are the different concerns of the customers about your product or your service? So concerns can really affect, or the parameters which can affect these concerns of the customers are the satisfaction. If customers are not satisfied with you, there is no trust of that particular company. If that loyalty is not there of that particular organizations, then it cause a concern to the customer. So customer satisfaction level is getting affected due to this. So we have to achieve all these things. So concerns of the customers, if there is no concern, then customer must be happy. So maybe you are a loyal producer or the factory, you are producing the goods for them, and the customer trust you for your better service and better product. Now customer satisfaction will ultimately reach to the profitability for the business. Okay, viability and profitability goes hand in hand in the customer satisfaction. Okay, if customer is satisfied, then they will give more business to you, to your organization. So viability and profitability is very important for the business, and it comes from the customer satisfaction. Customer will be happy. Okay, so they will give more order, and your ultimate profitability or the benchmarking of your profit margin, those you can exceed. So that is the result of customer satisfaction. Now talks about the organization for quality. There comes that consistency in the quality of the service. Now quality management here plays an important role to it. Now there are four main components in these aspects. As you all know, in different quality management system, planning makes an important role, then the assurance of the product, then control of the quality, and ultimately continuous improvement in the product and processes. That also plays an important role to it. So those are the four main components which takes care of the quality of any organizations: planning, assurance, control, and improvement. Now quality management, when you are talking, okay, so it means that you will achieve the quality. Quality is assured from your company. So you are a reliable partner of the particular customer because of your quality level, because of your efficiency, etc. So quality can be assured by doing proper quality management system. Now we also talk about different quality management systems, how it can be implemented in the organizations to get customer satisfaction out of it. So one of them is ISO 9001:2015 standards. Okay, by this quality management standard, one can implement different steps, or one can implement the different systems in quality management in the organization, not only to manage the organization but to improve upon the quality. And there are 7 quality management principles are there to achieve this. So ISO talks about 9001:2015 about those quality management principles based on which the ISO 9001:2015 have been formulated. Now let us see one of the videos of quality management principles, and after which we will see that what are the quality management principles applied for any organizations.
ISO 9001:2015 quality management systems, how to implement them, what you need to focus on, what you need to create, what you need to implement, what you need to train all of your people on to help your quality management system help your organisation win government tenders, improve processes, improve procedures, improve the outcomes of your organisation. Hey, my name's Kobe Simon. I'm the CEO here at Best Practice, and in this video, I'm going to be going through and talking to you about the 10 most popular questions with regards to ISO 9001:2015.
what are the 7 quality management principles?
Obviously, what I talked about with starting a quality management system a couple of questions ago was we talked about focusing on the customer. We talked about what are the promises that you make to your customer. So quality management principle number 1 is customer focus. So when you're developing your management system, a lot of people ask me, where do I start? You start with customer focus. Quality management principle number 2 is about leadership. So what we want to be starting to understand is we want to get leadership engagement, we want leadership involvement. So the second thing that you want to be working on is leadership, and I talk about that a lot. We're saying start with management review. If you're starting the implementation of a quality management system following ISO 9001, 2015, start with management review and start with engaging leadership. Point number 3, or quality management principle number 3, is engagement of people. Our job as managers, we only really have one job, and this is documented. Andrew Grove wrote about this in his book, High Output Management. He talks about, as a manager, you've really only got one job. It is to motivate and train people. And so quality management principle number 3 is engagement of people. And we engage people. So we bring them and we say, hey, what do you guys need to do to ensure we deliver our promises to our customers? And, what processes do we need to follow? What tasks do we need to do? What do we need to remember? What do we need to ensure we avoid? What mistakes do we, have we learned from that we need to avoid? So by engaging our people and saying, hey, what do we need to do? Then you can actually have everybody focused, with customer focus and engaging people. Instead of pointing the finger and saying you need to do this or you should do this, we can say, hey, what do we need to do as a team? Quality principle number 4 is a process approach, starting to think how your customer moves all the way through your organization, through the steps of your flow, if you like, from receiving some initial advertising or marketing, to engaging with you to find out about your product or service, to starting the commercial transaction and discussions, to come to an agreement, to go through the process and say, hey, we want to do business together, doing business together, and then obviously receiving the service. So let me just have a quick look at a couple of comments that popped up. Process approach, evidence-based decision-making. Thank you, Jarrett, on YouTube. The system becomes more effective with engaged leadership and finding a quality champion. Stan Wall, I absolutely agree with you, seeing that up there on LinkedIn. So the next one is obviously, I talked about process approach. The next quality management principle is improvement. Something we're all about here at Best Practice is the constant business improvement cycle of plan, do, check, act. And the whole goal here is to measure and monitor your performance and then start saying, okay, what can we do to improve? The next one, which has just come up there in the comments, thank you, Jarrett. Jarrett Rich there on YouTube. Thank you for your comments there. Evidence-based decision-making. In the book Good to Great by Jim Collins, it's right there on the shelf, he talks about the Stockdale paradox. He interviewed Colonel Stockdale after being in a prisoner of war camp in World War II, and it's worth reading that case study in Good to Great. The Stockdale paradox is about confronting the brutal facts while still being an optimist. So it's not about being delusionally optimistic, it's about confronting the brutal facts of the situation, which is fact-based decision-making or evidence-based decision-making using data, using monitoring and measurement. ISO 9001 2015 focuses in on improvement. There's an improvement section of the standard, but it talks about monitoring and measurement. It talks about performance over time graphs. It talks about data. It talks about objectives and targets. The logos here at Best Practice are graphs. They are performance over time graphs showing improvement. And it is that fact-based, evidence-based decision-making so that you can use the numbers instead of, being I talk about it a lot, don't be a focus group of one or an echo chamber in your own head. Actually go and look at the data and see what the data says and confront the brutal facts. The final one, number 7, is all about relationship management. So quality principle number 7 is relationship management, and it's all about your customer relationships and your customer focus, but obviously your supplier relationships, your stakeholder relationships, your regulator relationships, and good quality relationship management, frequent communications, transparent communications. You're all going to be able to work together to build a great brand.
So students, we have seen that different principles which are involved in the quality management, that is 7 quality management principles that has been discussed here. And these are the different aspects of quality management principles. So one must be customer focus, then leadership comes into the play, then engagement of the people in the quality management system is very, very important, because team effort, without that no quality management program can be successful. Then it must be a process approach. We should go as per the process to produce the product. Then continual improvement. What do you mean by continual improvement? That you achieve a certain benchmarking target and then you continue to be there in that position for a certain time. Then again, over a period of time, again you start from there, and incremental increase in improvement. That is basically continual improvement. Then there must be the evidence approach. Okay, it is not only the talk or the theory. So proper evidence, okay, proper cases should be there in the customer management or the quality management principles. And then the relation management, okay, so that also plays an important role to it. So these are the 7 quality management principles which are available in the management systems, and those are really the tools for implementing any kind of quality management systems in any organizations or any kind of standards. Okay, so that's why those 7 principles are important in the quality management. So students, we have seen that in this particular lesson, different areas starting from the customer satisfaction, how to handle a particular customer and how to convince them. Okay, then we have seen also that different byproduct or different outcomes of those customer complaint. One of them we have seen the product recall. So what are the different case studies of different product recall happen in the world. Then we talked about the benchmarking of the quality through quality maturity grid. So how much mature is that company, that can be done through that. And so also we have seen the different steps, okay, by which the quality management principles can be adopted in any company. So thank you very much students, and with this we have ended that particular course 18FT 504. Thank you very much.